Hello everyone. So it's Sunday. We're having a quick little catch up here, trying to get some more progress done for Final Fantasy 3. So we're gonna load up the save here real quick, and I'm gonna put us into the game capture. So since we last spoke here on the capture, I did a little bit of grinding for my characters here, not very much. I got around 3 levels for each of them, and corresponding amount of job levels basically for these dragoons here. So we picked up probably 10-15 levels, something like that for most of them. A bit less for Refuge, probably pick up around 10 or so. So we're gonna see if we can have a bit more success here this time with the boss that was messing us up last time around here. So I think it'll be fine, uh, but we'll see. And we'll just head in here and we'll have a chat with the guards here again, and we'll let the scene play out, and I'll do the voice acting here again so we can catch up on where we were when we left off here. Prince Aelus, stand aside and let me through. I can't, sire. You've been branded an exile by the king. What? The king wants to let me through? My apologies, sire. You may go through now. Please rest here for the night. Your audience with the king is scheduled for tomorrow. Good night. Are you asleep? No, not yet. I can't help but wonder, what has happened to my father? Why would he expel his own son? Do you think he doesn't love me anymore? Sire, no parent would ever lose their love for their children. Your father must have had good reason for doing this. Don't worry, I'm sure the king will explain everything come tomorrow. I guess you're right. Aelus, it's time for you to die! Father, what are you doing? Yes, what are you doing? Why did you just stop? Kill him now! Father! Father! There, I am free of your bonds. How? How did you break my spell? I would rather die than hurt my son. Your plans are foiled. Oh, bother. Well, have it your way. I'll just skip to the part where I kill you all. Prince Aelus, stand back. We'll take care of this. Oh, that's not all about here. So we had the trouble here where we were killed a bit too quickly with this setup. I think this is the right correct setup, so we'll just go ahead and have everyone jump here for now. We might lose someone here. Oh. But hopefully we'll be able to get all our attacks off. And they'll do enough damage. There we go. That the boss should be no trouble at all. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we had the correct idea. When last time around we just didn't have the levels for it. We were just a slight bit behind with our setup. But obviously this worked out really well for us now. So we'll happily take the XP and we'll move on. Father! Aelus, my son. Gigameth had put a spell on me. I was afraid you would never forgive me for what I had done to you. But you came back. That is what gave me enough strength to break Gigameth's bonds. Aelus, the kingdom is yours now. Stop the war and bring back peace to its people. I'm counting on you, son. Father, don't go. I love you, Aelus. You have my thanks. If it were not for you, I would have hated my father forever. No, sire. You had never stopped loving your father. Thank you, Ark. I will take my father's place on the throne and undo what he was made to do against his will. That was his wish. You have my eternal thanks. You have saved Saronia and my father from Gigameth. All hail King Aelus! You'll make a good king, I'm sure of it. Yep, there we go. Any opportunities to sleep here? I will have a quick look around the castle here, I suppose. Yeah, so we came here for some airship technology, I suppose. Or we were shot down while looking for some airship technology. So hopefully we'll be able to get our ship back here. But we'll have a look around here first. I am the master cannoneer of this castle. I've been shot down on an airship during the civil war we had earlier. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So, what do we have here? Classroom. We are the Saronian engineers, the greatest minds in all the world. We've been expecting you. We've unearthed and restored a flying ship from the ancient ruins. It's called the Nautilus and it's yours to take. Let's go, guys. Huh. Huh? What? Hey, wait for me. We moored the ship outside the castle. Remember, it's called the Nautilus. It's a fine ship. Its engine should be powerful enough to take you through the wind that protects the dull content. You are now the proud owner of the Nautilus. I mean, I guess it's the least they could do after shooting us down like that, but... Genius engineer's next ambition was to build a machine to travel underwater. So in the air is easier than underwater in this world, I take it. I get a feeling that they may want us to go and see Sid here again. We'll do that eventually. I want to explore a little bit around this continent here first as well, so... Oh hey, mages. Before he died, the great magus Noah gave fragments of his own power unto his 3 apprentices, Xande, Doga, and Une. I am not entirely sure how you're supposed to pronounce that, but the only ones who were capable of creating an earthquake of that magnitude are the 3 wizards of the Dal continent. The Nautilus's engine should be powerful enough to get you past the wind, the Garsdalg, through the arrow ship promontory. Huh. Warriors of the Light, you must now head to the Dal continent. The Dal continent, that name sounds familiar. I believe we may have heard something about a crystal there, perhaps? We'll see. Let's have a look over here. Nothing here. Yeah. And the shinies. Limited amounts of shinies here at this point. We'll have chat here. With the timber reaching the world of dream, Noah's loot lies in silence extreme, in the temple of time as it would seem. Bards? Always bards. Beneath the sea, under the waves that mourn, is the temple sundered by the god's scorn, south of Saronia between the two horns. Right. There's a secret passage to the treasure room on the first floor of this tower. Darkness. Yep, we'll have a look here. I must not let my father down. Not only must I bring peace to Saronia, but the whole world as well. There is much work to do, and there will be time to mourn later. Yep, we'll see about this. Yeah. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Ice Rod, Rusty Mail, Medusa Arrow, Tome of Fire, Main Gauge, Dragon Hammer, Tome of Ice, Golem Staff, Scholar Hat, Tome of Light, Celine Bow, and a Boomerang. So we'll do some switching back here. I probably want Ingus back to the knight. And we can put Ark back to the white mage. With yeah, Luna should probably go back to monk. Monk's pretty good at this point. We've had quite some time to level that job in particular up, so it's pretty strong at this point. The question is, do I keep Refia as the Dragoon for now, or should I put it back to Black Mage? We'll go back to Black Mage. This is the party setup we've been rocking through the most of the game here. It's a bit boring, but it's, you know, it does what I want it to do, which is good. So I think we can leave it at that for now. What's this, I wonder? More secrets. Gaia Vest, Viking Mail, Dragon Helm, Earthen Bell, Rusty Mail. I just realized there may be monsters in these chests. I don't think there will be, but they may be, and we should probably equip our characters again. So Blood Sword's still the best there, and we'll put on the Heroic Shield, Ice Helm, the Knight Armor, and yeah, probably the gauntlets there. Let's see here. So probably a golden staff and an ice rod, I guess. Good enough. Leather cap, mage robe, and mithril bracers. And we'll go with the bow here for Refia again. I do enjoy the bow for the mages here, actually, so I think that will be good. We do not want any weapons for Luna. And the Chakra Band, the Black Belt Key, and the... I guess we put on the Proud Bracers. I think those will do as well here. That should be it. The last chest has a Viking helm. So should we want to go Viking? We can. Nothing else around here, I suppose. Oh, okay, that's fine. Right. Back up and we'll check out our new airship right after we've had a slightly you know longer tour around town now that we probably can access shops here again, I'm assuming. I don't recall which region here had the different shops, so you'll excuse me if I'm retreading old ground here a little bit. I guess this one did not have any. We'll check in on the old Mognat here for now. No, that's what we wanted. Nothing new there. Wow, a new mail from Taka. The legendary smith. I don't know if I've told you, but there's supposed to be this legendary smith wandering the world. Rumor has it that she fixes things so well they look brand new. We'll keep an eye out. And for Lunath. Nothing new. Okay, that's it. So back to our regularly scheduled formation. We should probably put our mages in back row again. Oh, and all these small details that I tend to forget when I mix things around here. Yeah, that's everything in this area, I believe. So we'll head out. And we'll head north to the next district here. The inn. It's probably a good idea to rest and replenish our spell uses. Yeah, and then we'll have a look at the stores. The first stop I really want to make is probably the magic shop. See if there's any new spells that we can pick up here for any of our characters. I think that we should see summoning magic become available to us here as well soon. Because I do believe that we have the evoker job, which is sort of a lesser version of the summoner, as I understand it. But we'll see if we can pick anything up. So, Break, Blizzaga, Shade, Libra, Confuse, Silence. We've already got all of those, that's fine. We'll keep an eye out for if there's any other stores here that we need to have a look at as well. I don't believe we've been in this weapon shop before. Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Light Rod, Golden Staff, Rune Staff, and Wizard Rod. We could pick up 2 Rune Staffs, but I don't think that's the best use of our cash at this point. Any new items in this other weapon store? Nope, just the spears. That's fine. Okay, here's another magic shop. There we have Fandaga, Raise, Erase, Kuraga, Raise, and Protect. I just find it funny that we have Raise, and Erase, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll pick up one of each here. We'll probably have a chance to pick this up at some later point as well, but I think it's good to have it available as soon as possible. So we'll have arc here, learn the white magic. There we go. And Refia learns the black magic. Yeah. I'm not putting much stock in instant chaos spells, but I think it's probably good to have the access to them if nothing else. So that strips of most of our current liquid assets here. So we'll just have a quick little saunter over here to these areas over here as well. I wonder if we can go into the library now. We can. Book of Owen 1. After many long years is finally complete. The device will enable us to lift and control objects of immense size and mass. If my calculations are correct, it could even control the very planet we live on. Huh. Book of Owen 3. I want to see if we had a Book of Owen 2 anywhere. There we go. My current project is cryostasis, freezing objects for long-term conservation. Poetically, put an object in cryostasis could be said to be free from the flow of time. In theory, this should also be applicable to living beings. Right. Everything is ready. I will now leave Saronia and depart for the experiment site. I will take my son Desh, already an accomplished scientist himself, with me. Huh. Desh, you say? So, not only an ancient, but a cryogenically frozen ancient, potentially. Nothing else in these bookshelves. Here, yeah, just making sure. Let's see here. Ancient Book Part 2. Ancient Book Part 1. The 4 giant statues will burn anyone who dare to pass between them. The 4 fangs that we possess are the only things that grant us safe passage. So those were probably the ones that we saw when we were flying around before. 4 fangs. We need 2 more fangs, I guess. Light and darkness are kept in balance by the crystals of wind, fire, water, and earth. Okay. Have we abused the power of light? The light is everything, everywhere, overflowing. There is no way for us to stop it. And the inevitable outcome? Doom. The 4 warriors who came from the world of darkness have stopped the rampaging light. Who are they? How did they come to possess their power? The only thing we know is that their bravery saved the world from destruction. Airships in action! Our editor picks the top 3 most sensational spectacular airships of the year. First, the Diving Nautilus. Second, the Colossal Invincible. Third, the Indomitable Enterprise. Right. Perpetual Engine Theory. The governing principle behind the Wheel of Time is based on the temporal balance of antimatter. Right. Nothing there. No. The way of the Dark Blade. The mountains west of Saronia hold the secret to the way of the Dark Blade. Huh. Interesting. Mountains west of here, you say? We'll check that out, but first we're gonna check out the southwestern district here. I believe there should be a armor shop somewhere. Ah, yes, here. Rune bracers. Gaia vest, scholar robe, scholar hat. We can pick up 2 rune bracers. I mean, what else we're gonna spend all the money on right now, right? And we'll equip those to our mages here. Give them a nice little defensive boost. I think that's about it, so we'll head back to the airship now and we'll start exploring a little bit more here. Oh, the gate's opening again here as well. That's good. A quick little save here. Make sure our progress is worth something. Oh, this is a much quicker airship. We do enjoy that. Let's have a look around here a little bit first. Since we never did get a chance to look into this continent very much. So that looks like some sort of... is that the thing in the mountains, I wonder? Perhaps? Inlet there. Not much else around here at this point. Up north. There's another cave. And oh, I guess I have a village over there, so we'll land here and have a quick little look. Oh, that's how we land there. Repleto. Oh hey, are these summoners? Let's see if it works this time. Hiya! Oh no, Chocobo again? What am I doing wrong? Why? I think this is a summoning village, guys. The great Magus Noah once lived on the Dull continent, but he passed away long ago. Let's have a look here in this magic shop. Escape summons Chocobo, summons Shiva, summons Ramu, summons Ifrit, summons Titan. Interesting. We'll pick up the escape. And we may need to come back for these other later when we have a bit more cash. But it's good to know where the village is, if nothing else here. Summoning is the most powerful type of magic, if you know when and where to use it. There was once a great mage called Noah. He could not only use both white and black magic, but he could also use summoning magic. Yeah, let's see if we can replicate that feat. Was able to summon Leviathan and even Bahamut. That's, yeah, impressive, I'm assuming. Entities called forth by summoners are more powerful than the ones called by evokers. Yeah, as we speculated here before. According to legend, both Leviathan and Bahamut were sealed away by the great Noah himself. Have we spoken to this one? Yeah, we had. One of Noah's apprentices is said to guard the world of dream, sleep, and eternal sleep somewhere in the fjords to the south. The fjords, eh? Something to look into. Oh hey, who are you? I am a Gulgan. We have both the power to glimpse into the future. Someone is calling for the darkness to overflow this world. The same thing had happened before, only with light, in ancient times. Whoever is calling for the darkness does not seem to know one thing, that an artificial imbalance between the worlds of light and darkness will destroy them both. That's no good. There we go. Phoenix down. Nice. I think that's about it for this village. We'll come back here a little bit later when we have some more cash so we can pick up the other 4 summons there. So, yeah, nothing else there. We've had a look through the mountains over there. I do want to take a look at these few islands down here as well. I think one of them may be where the ship had crashed. Maybe not. Either way, we'll head into here as well. Duster. I heard that Saronia has the fastest airship known to man. Geomancy is very difficult art to master, but once you do, its effects can be devastating. Yeah. We'll have another ship in the magnet later. Leviathan, the great shade of the lake, bides his time. For a day he would break the chains over his darkness and then awake. Yep, I'm assuming bards. In ancient times, man's greatest wonder was to harness light, but what a blunder! Its newfound induction led man to destruction, and mortals wound up 6 feet under. And yet, while the world is in distress, 4 hailed from the world of darkness. I'm not sure about that rhyme scheme, but the light they did track down, and thus brought the smack down, thus banishing man's foolishness. Right, okay, if you say so. Yeah. Odin Supreme, the knight among knights, fearing his own power, he sealed his blight, forever in slumber, waiting for the light. Yep. A fanfare? This is the sound when you get items. Yep. It is indeed, man. Let's see what they have on the shops here. Diamond bell. So the bell and some different harps and for the bards. Okay. Bards, geomancers in this village then, I suppose. Bard vest, feathered hat, and rune bracers. Yeah. A couple of feather hats might be nice, but it's probably a later pickup here. What do you have to sing about? Nothing else? The Doll continent is to the south of here, but its entrance is protected by a great wind that blows away anything that comes near. Luckily, I'm searching for a sword called the Dark Blade. It's no ordinary sword, it's said to have been forged out of darkness itself. We did hear something about that. Hey! Yep. Oh boy. Really. Lord Bahamut, the greatest drake of all, awaits a champion before the fall, his power yours alone to call. Yep. Okay, that's it then, I suppose. We'll make sure to save here as well. So, that's not what I want to do. I want to open up the map here. So we did get 2 leads here, or a lead here for the Dark Blade. and where we may want to bring it if we find it. So I think we'll have a quick little look in here and see what's going on with this through 2 different caves at least. Une's Shrine. And here we have the sleeping disciple herself. Una is the guardian of the world of dream. She's sleeping in eternal sleep. Nothing will wake her. She will never come back from the world of dream. Okay. If you say so. Yeah, at least we know where she's at then. So, Une at the southern cave here. Let's have a look at the northern option here as well, and where it may have been. Let's see. Is it even further north? Probably. There we are. There we go. Ancient ruins. Let's see. Oh, hey. It's actually people here. We recently had a cave-in, and adamantite is blocking the way further into the caves. We devote our lives to studying the ruins left by the ancients. An adamantite wall crumbled during the earthquake, and we have lost contact with the advance team that went deeper into the caves. Oh hey, dragon. Yeah, let's start with the Libra here, I suppose. And a blizzard? And we'll attack with Lunef. Piralis. Ooh, that's... I'm not sure how that tracks with our power level at this point, but there's quite a few HP. Weakness ice, weakness water. It's good. Seems to work out pretty well here for us. We'll attack again. We will use a Kuraga for everyone. Use Blizzaga, and we'll attack again. Right. Of course, always one person downed for some reason. So, I guess that we may be needing something else to progress in here, so we'll just leave this for now. The enemies here seem pretty strong anyway, so we'll have a look and see what they're weak against, I suppose. Fyra, perhaps? Fyra? Let's give it a try. Weakness Dark Blade. Huh. Interesting. We'll just go ahead and use Cure for everyone. And the Saga might do it. I will attack. Hopefully everyone will live through this. Well, divide. Oh boy. There we go. Yeah, we'll come back here later. That's probably some of the things we need to do before. But we at least had a look here and we found these two different areas. Let's have a quick look to the south here. There seems to be an open area there that we haven't had too much to look at. Let me see if I can find the right inlet here. Okay, there's a few mountains there that are just going to prohibit us from getting in, I think. Yeah. Alright, we will stop by the inn for now then. Then we'll try to head to the Golg continent. Once again, we slept like a log. Everything is good and well with the world. And we'll move on. Yeah. So, on an unrelated note here, I have been able to secure a copy of Final Fantasy Anthology for the PlayStation, the European version, which means that we do have access to Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy V now as well. So we should be good up to until, at the very least, Final Fantasy X for this whole endeavor here, which is good news, I would say. So we'll see when we get to the point where we actually have use for them, but we do have the next games on deck already, which is obviously good news. I assume this is the way we need to go. Air enemies. We'll use Libra again. Fandara, perhaps? Let's see here. Gargoyle, 1250 HP there. Here the wind. So arrow might be good, but I don't think we'll need it. Especially with our monk putting out some real damage here. We also have quite a few uses of cure at this point, which is good. Nice for topping off our healing, and we obviously have cure for our might as well. What's this now? Doga's Manor. Oh, hey. Who dares trespass inside the great Mr. Doga's Manor? Seize them! Kupo! Kupopo! Not the Mughals! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hmm? I know you, don't I? Ah, the Warriors of the Light. Good of you to come. I have something to tell you. The one who is summoning the darkness into this world is none other than Sunday. Sunday, Yuna and I were apprentices to the great magus Noah. When Noah died, he bestowed upon us gifts, the power of magic to me, the world of dream to Yuna, and to Sunday, Noah granted him mortality. Of course, Sunday was not pleased. He covered this world in darkness and stopped the flow of time. Sunday's plan to stay his eventual demise by halting time itself. But then you appeared and restored time to its rightful rhythm. However, Sunday seems to intend on stopping time again. Come, you must help me stop Sunday. Doga has joined the party, oh my. Come, you must escort me to the cave of the circle. In my room is a secret passage that leads to the cave. The candle on the wall is the switch that opens the door. Okay. We'll look into letters here later. Let's have a talk with Doga and see what he's up to. Sunday is the one who engulfs this world in darkness and stops the flow of time. The unnatural nature of that action ripped a section of this planet away from the rest. That section is what you have come to call the floating continent. When Master Sunday left, he said he was angry because the great magus Noah only gave him mortality, Kupo. Master Doga said the floating continent was created by the destructive waves of the darkness that Master Sunday called forth, Kupo. Lady Yuna is sleeping. He's asleep in the shrine south of Saronia, protecting the world of Dream, Kupo. You can call Fat Chocobo in the hall of on the right. Use Sky Soul Greens on the unlit candle, Kupo. Good to know. Firaga, Bio Warp, Eroga, Stona, Haste. We have Raisin. Haste, yeah. Another place we should come back to when we have more cash on hand. High potion, lots of items, yeah. We'll leave that for now. Smells like Chocobo. Yeah, we'll get to that another time. Master Doga, are you going to the cave of the circle? That place is dangerous, Kupo. Don't go, Kupo. The cave of the circle is connected to the world of darkness, so the cave is filled with monsters from that world, Kupo. The magic water in the pot over there will restore your magic power and health, Kupo. Use the magic book on the table to revive any of your party members. So, healing, reviving, and nothing else of interest other than that at the moment. So, let's head back out and just save out here. I do want us to get to Final Fantasy IV here so we can have the great innovation of save points. Having to do all the saving on the world map is a bit tedious, to be honest. And I'm sure there's technical reasons for why they didn't want to do that first time around, but yeah, in terms of convenience and progressing through dungeons and things like that, it's a great boon to have save points available. Obviously. Oh, are we going to need to be small again? This hole leads to the cave of the circle. As you can see, you must be very small to enter. They really leaned into this mechanic here, huh? Luckily we have many uses of level 2 magic at this point, so... Oh boy, are we not going to be able to... No, we cannot, alright. In that case... Let's switch jobs here a little bit. Let's switch over to Red Mage for Ingus, and we'll switch over to... I think... Oh, hello, hello. I'm doing well, thank you. We've made some nice progress here so far. About an hour into the stream soon. So I'm just trying to figure out where did I put the Geomancer? We'll have Lunef be a Geomancer for now. Yep, we took care of the flying monster in the castle right off the bat. A couple of extra levels on the Dragoons, and that meant we made short work of him. So that was good. We're now in the precarious position of trying to find where to go next. We've just met up with a magician of some sort. And we'll, ooh, Earth Bell, sounds good. Diamond Bell, that's fine. And I believe we had some. Okay, that's fine. And put everyone to the back row. And what do we have in terms of magic for? Not much. That's fine. Ooh, tiny, tiny minotaurs. Oop, no, that's not what I wanted. Bovian, 730 HP, no weak points detected. Belts do nothing. Pandara does nice damage. Right. Let's see, we can use arrow, we can use Pandara, that's fine, and we can use terrain. In terms of the character's personalization here, I'm not sure if it's done much for it. We obviously put Ark into a more, supportive role, and Refia into a more, offensive role. But we can switch at a drop of a hat, basically. So it's not really like there's a consistent arc to the characters and such. So they're a bit more utilitarian like that. But they do have separate personalities within the story that is presented. So I think that there's definitely enough variation there in terms of how they're characterized, regardless of their class, that it's going to work well for most people on the playthrough. Even if the story is very basic here in this game, of course. Yeah, this setup seems to work well. Heading into the next area here. Yeah, the reason I like the job system is basically on a more mechanical level, I guess. I enjoy that there's a certain degree of freedom in how you approach building out your party and problem solving in a different way. So in this circumstance here, where we're forced into playing as miniaturized characters, we need to rely on magic because physical damage won't do much, but damage will stay the same for magic. But we don't have enough magic for everyone with the amount of resources we spent for them. So in this case, selecting something like a Geomancer for Lunef is a job that I probably wouldn't use normally, because I don't think it's the best option, because it's doing damage depending on the battle background type, as I understand it. But in this case, it's a pretty decent use of the resources that we have available to us, because it lets us use magic damage without investing a lot of money to putting spells onto Lunef here, for example. Since we don't really have anything else but the summoning here for Chocobo. I guess we could just experiment a little bit and make Ingus a evoker instead of a red mage here. Let's give it a go, why not? I don't think the red mage will be very impressive here. We'll go with evoker, we'll give him the stupid hat, and we'll give him the Chocobo spell. So evokers are weaker summoners. They can, as I understand it, they have two effects that you can get either or when you summon. Summoners will always have one stronger effect, and it's probably not the best class overall to use here either. But seeing as with our current resources, again, I think that's a decent option here for us. There we go. Everyone's full up on life. We must hurry. My time has almost come. I will cast a spell on your ship so that it may travel underwater. Se rapido, muove keine. The Nautilus can now travel underwater, fittingly. Yeah, I haven't really dove into Final Fantasy X-2 very much. I do have it. I picked up the re-release or the remaster for 10, which comes with 10.2 as well, but I've not gotten to the point where I have played that. But I do want to get to that, sooner or later. Obviously, it's not part of the marathon run that we're doing here, but it's maybe something that we pick up after, depending on. I'm not counting sequels as main series games. I'm counting only the main numbered entries. So 1 through 15 here. Mostly because I don't want to deal with all the 13 sequels, to be honest. But as I said, we may pick up 10-2 at a different point and follow up on that as well. Head south from Saronia. The Temple of Time lies between the pillars of Cape Twinhorn. In the temple is where you will find Noah's Lute. What does Noah's Lute do? It's a magic lute whose timbre will reach even into the world of Dream. You must use it to call Unei back from the world of Dream. I will now use the circle to enter the rift between dimensions and find the key to Eureka. Your task is to awake Unei and obtain the ancient ship known as the Invincible. You must hurry now. I will teleport you outside. Give my regards to Unei. Farewell, warriors with light. We will meet again. Okay, so I was sort of expecting a boss here, but that's fine. We'll just change our jobs back a little bit here. First off, that's not the mini anymore. There was a boss there? Was I the boss? Is that what you're getting at? Yes, I'm not sure if that's how it works, but I thank you for the... Oh, let's see here. We want to change to Monk here again. So I'm not entirely sure how the job adjustments phase here works. I think different jobs have different job adjustment phases between them, so more physical jobs going to more medical jobs or vice versa may have longer adjustment periods, or it may be due to the point in the game where you get them, but I'm not seeing the pattern entirely so far here. Formation set again, and we'll equip the blood sword, the heroic shield, and the best armor we can afford here. Yeah, we'll go with the gauntlets. Chakra band, the key, and the power bracers. There we go. The Luna's fists are deadly weapons, so we will leave those as is. There we go, all sorted out again. Ah, look, Riffia's going to level up soon, and Ark's not far behind either. That's good. So, Twin Horns, I'm assuming, is the area on the left there, so we'll go ahead and head into that. I guess we'll... Okay, let's fight these things first. Oh, no. I keep pressing auto battle before I put the right commands in. Let's look what the chimeras are weak against, but we'll go ahead with use thunder for now, and we'll attack there. There we see. No weak points detected, that's fine. We can use... No. Cure on Arc, I suppose. More the same. There we go. So I was saying just before you showed up in the chat there that I did pick up Final Fantasy Anthology for the PlayStation, so we should be set until at least Final Fantasy X for having access to the different games here, which is obviously super helpful. Okay, I don't think there's anywhere else we can land at this point, so we'll head back up here. Well, fun fact, I don't have a PS5 yet. It's due to ship in May, so that'll be a while. And it doesn't matter because PlayStation games don't work on either the PS5 or the PS4. So we will be playing that on the PS2 Slim that I have been playing the first 2 games on. Yeah, I've not looked at the latest update from the store I ordered from, but we'll look into it. Now then. Alright, submerge, that's what we want to do. So we're submerging here underwater. Yes, here we go. Temple of Time. Actually, let's head out and we'll save here first. Yeah, so I ordered from, and this is not going to mean much to some people here, but I ordered from Webhallen, and I think that they've been taking orders and, you know, basically taking orders for a long time before they had the official announcement of the price and everything like that. So they had a long line basically, and now it's not available anywhere else. So yeah, that's my luck, I guess. I'm gonna need to look into the actual order and see where the current estimate is, but I don't think we'll get it any time in the near future here. It's the one with the discs. I still want to have access to my old PS4 games, so we'll see what makes sense, I suppose, when we get to that point. If I'm assuming I'll have it before we get to the point where I need to play Final Fantasy 15. So we may or may not be able to play the enhanced version of that there. But I do have access to that on the Xbox as well, so we may go that route instead if we need to. Okay. Yeah, lightning's pretty bad for us. Oh boy. That's disappointing. Yeah. For some reason, magic is doing a lot of damage to us here. We'll give this another go here, and we'll see how things progress. Okay, let's not waste any time here this time. Okay, that's a better attack pattern for us. Nice. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. We'll use the cures from Ingus here. And we'll have a look to the door is locked. We have 7 keys still, so that's good. Oh hey, what's this room? This is probably weak to win, but we'll have a look. Actually, just attack with bow and arrow here, I suppose. $5,000 weakness wind, and hopefully bow and arrow as well. Not particularly, that's fine. Oh no, no confuse please. And we don't have any good way of curing that for now. Arrow, I suppose. I guess we'll maybe just try to attack Lunef and hopefully not kill him. Oh no, no. That's what I did not want to happen here. So let's see here. A Phoenix down for Arc. Some ice magic and some hits for the enemy. And Lunef stand as well. Oh yeah, there we go. That's disappointing. We'll use the Phoenix down. We'll pick up Arc. He can pick up Lunef. We'll all have a nice little heal session here together. And let's see here. A diamond helm might be good for Ingus, I guess. Yeah, pretty nice. Let's see. King Lizard and the Gizzard Wizard. Yeah, that joke didn't really land, but that's fine. Actually, just attack with there. Fandara, Fandaga. Yeah, let's go with Fandara for now. On everyone, and we'll have enough attack as normal. About 100. So 1200 at least. But not more than 1800. That seems like it's reasonable. Oh no, no, no. Yeah. magic spells just wreck me at this point. I'm not sure what the design intent of that is. Well, we'll deal with it, I guess. Actually, I should probably focus on taking care of the enemies, like the sea horses here, that do have high level magic first going forward here, but yeah. We're getting to the point where we need to do some more thinking about our encounters here, which is good. But I think it's a bit too swingy in this game still. It doesn't feel like you have the sort of right level of this could go either way that there is in some of the later fights in the series. So I think it's, the balance is in general a little off. So one thing that I think is a little bit off in terms of balance here, and I've noticed, or I mentioned this before, I think, is that for the jobs here, some of the jobs are basically upgrades to previous jobs. So the knight here, for example, is basically an upgraded warrior, and for the black and white mages, we'll have upgraded versions of those that are basically better. They have access to more levels of white magic, and they have slightly better stats. So there's really no use to go back to a black mage or white mage after you've unlocked those classes, for example. Same with the monk and the upcoming, I think it's the black belt, or I'm not entirely sure what the class is in this version of the game. But yeah, so I think that there's some weird design decisions in terms of that. In terms of individual encounters, it's been mostly fine. I think it's definitely better than some of the encounters that we had in the previous two games in terms of the difficulty curve, but it's not perfect in any way, shape, or form here. Not that it needs to be, obviously, this is in some ways a product of its time, even if this is a remake that changes some things up and modernizes it to some extent. It's still, the core of it is still a game from the late 80s, early 90s, right? That said, I'm having a lot more fun here with this game than I did with Final Fantasy II. Once again, not because I think that 2 is a bad game, but because there's just a bit more mechanical meat on the proverbial steak here. So I think overall I'm quite enjoying this here. The art style, yeah, maybe. I think it's obviously very low poly, but I think that they've done what they can with it, and I think it has a charm to it, particularly in terms of the character portraits and things like that here. I think obviously having a bit more presentational polish on the narrative scenes is obviously something that's something that I think has improved my enjoyment of it here as well. But let's see, diamond bracers. So one of the mages, probably the white mage, makes sense. He can pick everyone else up, so that's good. That said, it's not, you know, an aesthetic that necessarily fires the synapses in my head 100%. It's good, it's nice, but it's not my favorite art style of the entire series as such. But yeah, it has its charm. I think it's definitely helping in a lot of ways. I'm more interested to hear from you, seeing as, you know, I know that you're working in 3D art and animation. How do you feel about this art style, and, you know, how it works for the game? Obviously, you know, keeping in mind that it has some limitations when they created it here. Let's see here. I think we're on a more let's see. Oh no, this shows the wrong target. I'm not sure why they do that. That's fine though. We'll live through this, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, but it's a bit annoying just that they don't target things in the same order that I want them between fights here. But that's, yeah, fine. Yeah, I mean, obviously they were working with a pretty limited set of technical abilities here with the original version of this version of the game coming out for the DS, I believe. So that sort of limits what you can do with the art style to some degree. And then, yeah, I think certain designs work better than others, but I think overall it's pretty successful in modernizing the, I guess, the original chibi designs for you know, the NES into something that's similar but still, you know, feels modern to some degree. I mean, the original versions of the characters definitely were children as well, as far as I can tell. I think the default class was called Onion Knight or Onion Kid at that point. So they're definitely meant to be younger than maybe some of the characters in the previous games even. But you know, they shouldn't look like 5 years old, obviously. So, but if you look at the sprites for the original release for the NES, I think you'll find that the original Onion Knight sprites are pretty, you know, chibi looking. Obviously, the different jobs have different designs as well for the original release, but in general, I think they all leaned to the, I guess, let's say, cuter side of the spectrum. Let's see here. Where are we headed? Let's give this another turn. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think the series has obviously had a lot of different art styles throughout its entire run, right? Both in terms of like the concept art and the in-game art. You know, the Amano art that's mostly relegated to being the promotional art or the cover art at this point was the actually let's see if there's anything in here in the config. No, maybe it's not anything that's available to us here, but that was the concept art for the game before, right? Ooh, a defender. Let's have a look and see how that looks for us. Oh yes, yes, yes. This is what we're waiting for. This is a pretty good upgrade for our knight here, I think. So when you get to the PlayStation era where you have more fidelity in the in-game art, obviously some of the more expressive or what's the word I'm looking for? Less flowery, perhaps, is the way to put it. Expressions of the characters is something that it falls to the wayside a little bit because it's not practical in terms of like, okay, how do we put this into motion for a hardware on the level of the PlayStation. And then you get to the point of, okay, now we establish a new style that sort of becomes a house style to some degree. Obviously there's different interpretations and expressions within that as well. Even the characters for 7 and 8, while being designed by the same person, is pretty different still, right? And yeah, so I think there's a span here, and obviously it's not going to every game is not going to work for everyone, but I think overall there's a pretty high level of care put into the aesthetic. Yeah, I guess I not to play my hand too early here before we get to the game, but 9 is my favorite of the series as well. A lot for nostalgia, but also I think that it sort of ties the bow, a nice bow on the first 3 generations of games, and obviously there's a lot of callbacks to earlier things in these games here as well. Let's go with arrow on everyone, and let's go with Fundaga on everyone, and let's attack. Yeah. I would be interested to see what they could do with, a remaster or remake, a proper remaster or remake of 9 to some degree. But on the other hand, I don't feel like 9 necessarily needs it to that to an extent either. I think the aesthetic stands really well for itself still. Obviously having a higher resolution image would be good, but in general, I think it's stood the test of time pretty well. I think you could argue that 7 was in need of some modernization, particularly because the localized version had some let's just call them issues due to time constraints. And not that that ruins the original release of Final Fantasy VII in any way, really. Obviously, it's a really good game, and it became what it is for a reason. But I mean, it's also a way to. I don't want to be unkind here, but it's also a way to weaponize nostalgia. In that, if you know that you have a property that people adore to that level, you can really, if you sell it in the right way to them, make a lot of money. Which is the cynical way to see it, I guess. But I think it's also to some degree the realistic way to see it. That said, Final Fantasy VII Remake was probably my favorite game of this year. I don't think it's necessarily the best game of the year, but I tore through that game like nothing I've ever seen. I think the reason that I was able to do that is I think a lot of and feel free to tell me my opinion is bad. I don't care about that. But a lot of care was put into that game, to the degree that they didn't need to. Oh hey, this behemoth-looking dragon here. But yeah, there's so many small details in there that was really hit almost the precise right notes that it needed to, while still making it feel like something that's fresh and new and exciting. And that's quite an accomplishment based on what the title they're remaking is, because it should not work, it should not be possible. But it does work for me, and I think honestly I think the developers love Final Fantasy VII more than I love Final Fantasy VII. I think the developers love Final Fantasy VII more than most people love Final Fantasy VII. They love Final Fantasy VII so much that they're leaning into everything that's been built around Final Fantasy VII that most fans don't care about. I could go into why that last statement isn't really true. I'm not going to. I'll just say that this is not just an updated version of the intro to Final Fantasy VII. This is something else, and you can feel how you want about that, but they really tried to make something unique out of it while still being faithful to the original game, and to a large extent they managed to make it work, and that's really impressive in my mind. It's just a cheap workaround to not piss people off by making changes to the story. I mean, when you look at it, people were pissed off anyway. So if that's the intent, it didn't work, and I don't think that wasn't the intent. I think this is... They're leaning into the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII Beyond the original game, and you know, as I said, most fans don't care about that stuff, but some do, and obviously the developers themselves do. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh boy. Yeah, I'll just attack here. Yeah, I'm not, trying to convince you to, like the game or anything like that. Obviously, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I enjoyed it. I think it works. You may not, and or you may not be interested even in the concept of it, and that's totally fair. I think I've been a strong proponent of the theory that some things do not need to be remade or have follow-ups or have a prequel or have everything explained. I think there's a real problem with that in a lot of movies these days that I don't really enjoy seeing. But if they're going to do it, they need to stick to landing. And for me, they stuck to landing on Final Fantasy VII Remake in a way that certain other properties or cultural artifacts did not. Let's actually see here. I think we're gonna just step out here a little bit and have a quick little trip to a inn. I think we do not have the resources right now to we'll head up here. Yeah, let's land and let's do some shopping, and let's probably head up and buy some more summons as well. I mean, it's a fair opinion to not be interested in remakes and stuff like that. I think there's a real influx of remakes going around these days, or remasters, or whatever they decide to do with them. Some are successful and are pretty useful, or a good use of the time that they have. Some are not, and obviously it's really disappointing when it isn't. But if they're going to do it, I'm glad when they can do it well, and I think it also shows like a direction for what they want to do with the series in some way. Obviously 16, what we've seen of it seems to be more action focused, more like an action RPG of some kind, from what I can tell from the early trailers. And that would have worried me if it did not work so well for me in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let's go ahead here. I forget, did I just save? I probably just saved. Yeah, I did just save. But that's fine, we just saved again. Yeah. Yeah, obviously I enjoy those aspects of the series as well, which is why part of why we're doing this whole replay through. It's interesting to see the whole evolution of these things. Let's see here, arrow. We can use Busaga, that's fine. We'll attack. Yeah, so as I said, obviously I enjoy those aspects as well. I think this is part of the reason I'm doing this for myself, and also just getting a better understanding of how things tie together within the series. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to let my nostalgia limit my enjoyment of what the new title may bring. Even if I have my issues with some of the newer, games, I don't want to let that be just for the reason that I'm stuck and clinging on to what the series used to be. Because the older I get and the more things I see, the more I realize that these games are like a snapshot in time. They are the best game that these people could make at that time under the constraints that they had. And a lot of us grew up with that, and we love that. Not only in spite of its shortcomings, but in some cases because of its shortcomings. But I don't want that to limit my enjoyment of something that's a snapshot of this point in time unnecessarily. No, I'm not saying that I will enjoy 16. That's never guaranteed, right? But